Hello friends, my name is Borislav. I'm in the heart of South Pirineos, in the land of the Cathars, and my message for you today will be about virginity. Virginity, it's a very important concept for the Cathars and for any spiritual person, especially for the youngsters. Many are looking for spiritual path, for spiritual growth, and trying to do different spiritual practices, looking for gurus, teachers, etc. And it's all good, but my suggestion is to look for that spiritual school and for that spiritual master who lives in virginity, and the school which promotes virginity as the only way of existing in this mixed world. Why? Why it is so important? Why virginity is a main topic for today's Cathars and for the Cathars of medieval times? Because there is impossible to improve your inner spiritual potential without being in a pure state, without living in absolute purity. More than purity, we would say in virginity. Virginity is something untouchable, uncorrupted, absolutely innocent. We as divine beings were born, were conceived, were created, just use the word you like, in absolute purity, in virginal sphere, from virginal substances, from virginal deity. You may call it virginal father, virginal mother, but the most important is that it was virginal conception, it was virginal creation, and we possess that very virginity in ourselves. And we are looking to reveal this virginal life, this potential through our lives. And sadly, because the earth is in mixed state, there are a lot of temptations and corruption, etc. We can hardly express this virginal potential, and we just lose it little by little. We experience lust, fornication, many low passions, and especially when we meet spiritual school which is based on lust or on sexuality and improving sexuality as the progressive spiritual method. It is not. According to Cathar view, it is absolutely against universum, it's against spiritual laws, and it is against the very divine human being, because sexuality, sexual energy actually ruins inner spiritual being. Yes, rising kundalini, yes, opening chakras based on sexual chakra, it is all against the real deep inner spiritual potential. So virginity comes from virgin, and we believe in Virginal Mother. We worship goddess mother, who is absolute virgin, who is most pure one, the purest of the purest brides of the heavenly bridegroom. So, that name was worshipped among the Templars, the Cathars, the Gnostics, the minstrels, minnezingers. They all glorified Divine Mother as the eternal Virgin, the ever Virgin. And virginity which we are seeking is coming from her. So we have to dedicate our lives, dedicate our desires and goals and our destiny to our Mother, Mother Virgin, and ask for virginity from her. And our beloved Mother, give me back my virginity, restore it, because I felt, I experienced evil, I experienced lust, and I want to be purified. And please help me, please bring me to the pure Master, the perfect one, parfait, who not only live in virginity, but who lives in perfect state. It's more even than purity. Perfection means if I even want to sin, to make sin, to make something wrong, it will be not possible. So basically it means I cannot to sin. My inner particles, my inner state just put away all temptations. They cannot approach to me. Yes, and just finalizing my message, I'd like to invite young brothers, young sisters, experience virginity. Just think about virginity, meditate about virginity, and you will realize that it is something you were looking for since you were born. And each time you met lust and temptation was a moment of losing your inner purity, and you suffered because of that, and now you are in desperate state of wanting to bring it back, but you just pushed it to some back of your mind and forgot about that purity. Remember that you were virgin, and realize that it is possible for you to live in virginal purity, not when you are old, but now, especially when you are young, when these lustful temptations surround you. Especially, it's a really heroic deed. It's an act of a knight to be virgin in this lustful world. And we know for sure that there are millions and millions of young people who are desperately looking for virginity. You may come and meet John Bogomil, Father John, who is very simple in his attitude, and he's very, very understandable. He is very, very for dialogue, a very dialogical person, and he's the one, to my experience, who know what is virginity, who lives in virginity, and who grows in virginity each year, and I know him for some years already. So virginity is number one for you, my beloved young brothers and sisters. Do not forget it. Look for it. Now I will make ablution in this little lake under this waterfall for more virginity. Ablution is a very important Cathar practice for accumulating of purity and fire of all good spirit. We suggest to do it as often as possible, for several times a day. Make ablution, accumulate spirit, fire and virginity. My dear brothers and sisters, my message is for those of you who don't want to be just like average other people, who want to be special. To be special today is means to live pure and virginal life. Yes, virginal life is a revolutionary today, because the lustful pansexualism covered the face of the earth, and maybe in 1960s sexual revolution was something which young generation used to challenge this society, but it finished with a total degradation of those same people who used to be very revolutionary back at the time, who were very inspiring and very modern. They finished almost like average people, most of them. Many of them, by the way, died because of drugs. But today, there is the only way to challenge this society which is based on primitive, very lustful, very low instincts, is to be a night of virginity. Yes, to live the life which is out of this world, to be on earth as you are a messenger from the heaven, and in this way to provoke yourself to be million times better than you are, to be million times fiery, million times pure than you are at the moment here on earth, in your school, in your college, at your working place. You can be an example of fragrant virginity, of noble behavior. Yes, you can be like an aristocrat, like a noble person, without having some titles got from some questionable royalties. But yes, to be a knight, to be a noble person is possible only when you live virginal life. And virginity today is equal to nobility. If you want to succeed your inner noble potential, be virgin, live in purity, and do not waste yourself. Be special, be virginal.